Hi, welcome everybody to the first Live Travel podcast. Today we are so happy to have Milagros as our first guest. Milagros is a leadership coach, and today we mainly want to talk about her own story, her years in the corporate world, and how that eventually led to the work she does now. So, Milagros, a warm welcome. Really nice to have you here.
Welcome.
Who is Milagros?
Thank you for having me here, Michiel and Edward. It's very nice to be here, but also to meet you in a different setting because we've worked together, Edward. So it's a very nice way of collaborating with each other and having this pleasant conversation. So who is Milagros? So I consider myself to be determined. I am very precise, and that shows also in the way I work, who I am. In relationships, I'm loyal, I'm impatient. I have a perfectionist side. In the past, I would have said I am perfectionist, but now I say I have a perfectionist side, so I can distance myself from that as well when it doesn't work for me. I have learned to trust more, so I could say I'm more open, more authentic, and trustworthy. Definitely. And I'm a happy camper, actually. I consider myself very blessed and happy, and where I am right now, doing what I love to do. Yes.
What shaped you as a person mostly?
What shaped me as a person? Many things, actually. I come from a long line entrepreneurial women of my mother's side of the family. So what I have actually inherited and what has shaped me along the way is the independence. The independence. All the women were very independent. They had businesses, very strong, very responsible, and sometimes too judgmental, I have to admit. So everything needs to be in a certain order, and you didn't get much compliment. It was more like actually criticizing or judgmental, having this mindset like this is the way we go and nothing changes. So that strong part and that independent as definitely is something that I am at this point of life. It has shaped me, but also it has brought me a lot of things, good things. So I could say that, and obviously also throughout my life, my mom died when I was 17, so that shaped me as well. In a way that you always miss her, you always go back to the memories you had together, but it's a different way. So I've always kind of had that. How could it be if she was here right today? How would our relationship look like? So that is something I will never know. But I definitely cherish the time that I was with her. And I know that she wanted me to be independent, outgoing, and just speak my mind. So I think that had contributed as well to the person I am today.
He was a very big influence on how you developed in your life in general. Then, as it sounds.
Yes, and especially if I look back at her life, she was a heart patient, but she always worked very hard. She had different businesses, and she followed her passion. So she did ultimate what she really liked, despite but and she didn't take care of herself. That was the other side of the coin, because she was then divorced woman with 4 children, and I'm the third. So then it's hard. I mean, I was born in Peru, but I grew up in the Netherlands. So it must have been hard for her, and still going and doing what she actually liked the most is being involved in the business, creating, working day and night. And yeah, and that led actually that she didn't take care of herself. well enough. Yeah.
Oh,
So what I learned from that is just do your thing, go your own way, and but now for me the learnings are taking care of myself. That has been definitely one of my learnings throughout my journey is I need to take some time for myself because I love also being active and also being productive. So that is, because I've always seen my mom doing things. She never rested. She never spoiled herself. She never took a break. So we grew up like that, being very energetic, very active, doing things, being productive. So that has been for me the one of the things that I learned also to let go or to actually to look at myself and say, okay, how does that apply into my life? Do I really want to? Does it fit into my life in the life that I want to create for myself?
and also connected to what you're doing today, huh? So it's because it seems it cannot be different. That's in the work you're doing now. You have to be interested in people's lives, and you have to ask these questions actually to get
Yes.
through to what they feel, to what they think. So it's also is that also something you developed during your life, and that you found out that is something I really want to do? When did this question or did this feeling come that you wanted to do what you're doing now?
That's interesting. Well, I've always had this. I think I've always had that talent, ability to really connect with people well since early um, childhood. I mean, I think I was still in Peru. I think I might has been have been 12 years old, 11. And I remember that I had older friends and they always came to me for advice. They always came to me and they were like 14, 16, and they had break up with a girlfriend, right? So they came, oh, Milagros, she broke up with me again. What shall I do?
Yeah,
And obviously, apparently, I gave advice and off they went and
yeah,
so that I remember that happened continuously.
yeah.
And also at one point I was called Dr. Love, apparently, because I've been very I've been very wise. I was a very wise child. I think that is my
Right.
heritage from my ancestors, if you believe that. So I think that
Yeah,
it's yeah, I've always been wise, seeing things
yeah,
clearly, and so people, I don't know, people felt that they could trust me. And even, I mean, when I came to Holland, I remember that people, strangers, sometimes they came to me and they just opened their heart. I'm like, and sometimes two private things were shared and I didn't ask for them. So I was like, oh, I don't want to hear. What shall I, how do I cope with this? So at one point, because I was always good at listening and providing advices and putting people needs first, I felt
mm,
responsible. Apparently, that was in unconsciously responsible for what they come to me for, right? If somebody comes from advice or they have problem, then I'm here, whoop, with a solution, with something, suggestion. So I felt that obviously unconsciously, I didn't like the way it made me feel because it took a lot of energy from me. And I didn't know, I couldn't place it because I was also discovering who I was. So I knew that people
yeah,
came to me and so, and it drained me. So, but I didn't know that it came from there until I just
well,
decided to become a coach and I did the study. And then I realized that I actually had the qualities, but I hadn't been using. I didn't protect myself. Didn't protect my energy. I
mm,
didn't know. I gave. Only I gave, and that was what.
yeah,
Obviously, it takes a lot of energy. But throughout the years, and also because I learned to know myself better, and then what I want and what I needed, then you just learn to regulate, the energy,
Yeah.
and also to set boundaries.
Yeah.
So and a lot came from when I decided to become a coach. So it was there, the connection, the ability to connect with people on an emotional level. It was there. I only need
Yeah.
to learn how to be of service, but without actually jeopardizing my own energy.
But
Yeah.
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
moment that you decided or you believed that you could be the coach is something that, of course, was internally inside you, but it also um, came with a certain event, right, in your career as well, that actually made you do this step. Can you tell a little bit more about
Yes.
that? Yeah,
Yeah, actually, it was at the time that we were working together
exactly.
for ING Group.
Yes.
So ING decided to actually restructure the company. So insurance and banking became independent companies. And as I was working for the group staff, then my manager and I became actually, we were made redundant. So at that moment, I thought, okay, I can do two things. I wanted, actually, I was longing to start for myself, but I didn't know what to do. So at times I felt working at ING, I felt fulfilled, but at times I knew I wasn't really fulfilling my potential or maximizing my potential. So I carried on. So the fact that I was made redundant was for me a blessing in disguise, because this was a moment, this was a push in the right direction that I needed in order to reflect on my life. What is my life after ING, or
Yeah.
beyond ING? So then I was lucky enough to get a good coach who actually, she initially, the goal was for her to help me find another job. But then we realized throughout our work together that I wanted to start for myself. But I felt frustrated because I was looking always outside myself. What can I do? And not looking inside myself. Okay, what is really that you like to do? And what can you do? Right?
Mm.
So at one point, she held the mirror, and then because we've obviously we've spoken for a couple of months now, so she knew my story, and she knew that I had the potential to become a coach, that I was already a coach actually. And so she held the mirror and she said, "What are you doing? You know that you're a coach already. Why don't you get your paper and just start your company?" And then it really connected. It connected with me, and it connected. I don't know. I was in the right place at that moment. And like they say, when the pupil is ready, the master appears, right? So she was
There
my
you go.
master. I was a
Yeah.
pupil, and I was at that point ready to
To jump.
to jump, to actually to do.
Yeah.
So what I did was the next day I signed up with a coaching academy in London. And then 10 months later, I got my certification, and then I started my company. Yes,
Mm. Wow.
The Milagros group, right?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds very good.
There you go.
And how was the first phase of that being a startup, like trying to find people, customers or client? You don't say customers as a coach, right? You say, but you say
No, client. I
clients,
think I think I
clients,
think we
right?
say clients. Yeah.
Client is good.
Clients. Yeah.
It's testing the waters.
Yeah.
I think if I look back at the beginning, I think perhaps other entrepreneurs or coaches will relate, will with what I'm saying, is that you try to do what's best. You try to do what people expect from you as a coach, right? And so offering the right services and doing the right things. And then, but there is a lot of information that can be overwhelming. And it was at one point because it's too much. So then, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And again, you should look inside and ask yourself what is really what fulfills me, right? So for
Yeah.
me, it was testing the waters. So I started with job search, outplacement, because I could offer the services that were provided to me when I was made redundant, and leadership development. That has always been there. So
Yeah.
the way I got noticed, it was joining platforms where I did my 3 minutes of speech, and then people could see me in action, and they could relate with me. So at the end of the session, they came to me and they asked me, "Oh, I resonate with your story. Thank you very much." Or can we talk? So from those events, I really got clients. It was very nice. And I discovered also that I like to be live in the moment. So people, they see me, whether they either connect with me or not, and that's okay. So rather than
Yeah.
emailing, rather than searching for all the channels, the live moments are good for me. And I like it. I like it because then I connect right away and I have these interactive talks like we're doing now, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel when you started to become a coach? When the switch happened, let's say, so you did your education and you started up. How did you feel after your first sessions with people, and what happened?
Um, well, it is always the first time. Well, you need to practice, right? So you do like
Mhm.
free coaching. You practice, you need to have the hours. So I practice, you offer your service for free. So I had very nice first clients who I work with. And what I noticed, especially in the beginning, also with paid clients, is that you want to do what's best for the client. So since I have this tendency to overgive, I was
Mm.
really, really tested here. And obviously
Yeah.
you enter into this pattern. And what I did is obviously give a lot of my time, give a lot of, be really, it was very intense. So they became very intense
Yeah.
sessions. And I liked it. And the client was happy because they achieved their results. But I noticed that, okay, this could be different. So I noticed that what's motivating me to help was more like, overgiving, feeling kind of a sense
Mm.
of perhaps responsible
Yeah.
for the result, which is actually not. I'm not responsible for the result of the client, but that was actually in the back of my mind, I think, motivating me. So those are things that I needed to work on myself as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. How was
Yeah.
it for
I
you,
recognize it very
actually?
much.
How was it for
I
you?
really recognize it. I recognize it a lot. It's especially in the beginning. It was really also giving a lot, and I think we relate in that, and I think many coaches do that. That
Yeah.
you want to help people, so that is something that's behind it. But the way you help is very important, and I think so I relate a lot to what you're saying in that sense that overgiving was in the beginning definitely a thing. Um, but at the same time, I felt directly after my first coaching sessions, I felt directly a certain click with something that, oh wow, this I really want to do.
Yeah.
Uh, because uh, I was adding something to somebody's life in a very different way than I was used to, and people would tell me everything like that if
Yeah.
if if you're an open person or you're a trustworthy person, which I consider myself as well, then people will tell you everything,
Yes.
and that I really found very impressive in the beginning as well. That you say, "Well, this is a lot of information." And then seeing, okay, how can you anticipate on that and see, okay, what is it you need, and not so much, uh, I give everything to help you, but it's much more looking for what you yeah, where the people really are helped with, let's say.
You also became a
Yeah.
coach because you did something that you didn't really like anymore, right? Or you could not, you
Yeah.
didn't want to
Yeah.
continue
I also
anymore.
had a turning. I think that it's very interesting to see the turning. That is also why one of the reasons why we are doing this podcast is also the turning points in life. Let's say, no, and it's very interesting how life evolves.
Yes.
And my mine was the same. I was also 40 years old. I had my own company, but I was kind of the energy was out of it. And I had a foundation and everything. We worked really, really, really hard, and it was very beautiful what we did. But it was also I could feel it was done. Let's say, and then the step to change that was quite big, and at the same time, it felt really, really good to start something else and something new, and also something I was already working for myself, but as a coach, you work more individually on your own targets, let's say, more than with other people in a company. So that's yeah, following really your own way or your own path or your
Yeah.
own bliss or whatever you want to call it. That was really the first time I really felt that for myself. So that was also that's why I asked you for how did it feel for you to start this and to slowly yeah build this coaching company for yourself. Because it's a different feeling than what you had before, I guess. No.
Yeah, because it's more aligned with who I am. And that is, again, a discovery path,
Yeah.
right? Because it doesn't happen from one day to another. You have to do the work. You have to go into the process of self-discovery. And I've invested a lot of time and education on that. And I
Yeah.
think because I've always been curious, I've always knew that there is something more than what I'm doing. And there is something, but I couldn't point out what it exactly was. And so throughout my life, I think that is very, it's the, what I'm doing now, and thinking why I'm doing it now, this work is because I started with myself. I've gone through all the work on the internal patterns, things that weren't working for me. So it was back and forth, actually. Yeah, being faced with challenges, with tension, and and discovering or understanding where they came from.
Yeah.
So
Is this also what you kind of teach or
yeah,
advise your clients, or is it?
yeah, it's well, you mentioned teaching. Yes, I think that I'm part of the way I work with clients. It's the teaching aspects. I love to share what I know, and that is also one of my core values. First of independence, self-expression, and playfulness. So self-expression is very important, and I think that's why we're doing this podcast. But also, what I do, because I want to share my knowledge, and but also educate a little bit about why they might feel stuck, why some internal patterns are preventing them from moving forward, right? When we all have that, we all have qualities that one day brought us success. They are impacting our effectiveness and performance, actually, or impact. So, and we don't know why that's happening. So it's good to understand by reflecting where does it come from, especially in moments of tension, when we actually don't think through things, we react. And so when very reactive, we don't respond. We don't respond, and we need to respond in order to be aligned with who we are. So if we give ourselves the pause to internally actually process what's going on, and is this affecting me, what is being activated within me, then you can respond in a manner that your response will have impact, and not the other way around. Yeah.
How do you recognize? Say a leader comes to you, Milagros, and does a session with you. How do you recognize these patterns? What do you see? How do you get it out of the person?
Well, the thing is, what I noticed working with leaders is the focus is on delegation, overperforming, communication, right? How do I get my team to do what I want them to do? And I don't understand why this professional who is being paid a lot of money and he's intelligent, why doesn't he do what he does, what is paid to do? So there is a lot of frustration. And I think then the leaders, they obviously they set the objectives and they build this team to execute them. But at the same time, it's not only setting the objectives, it's also being able to coach them, to guide them actually, to follow you, to follow your vision. And in that guidance, there is obviously the soft skills. So you need to be understanding, you need to be able to listen. So it's less expectation and more connecting with the people. So when they come to me for, I don't understand why this person doesn't do what they do. Well, I have, they can trust me, but I said, how do you connect with them? How do you express? How do you communicate? And it happens in those moments. You could say, well, yeah, but I have an open door policy. They know they can come to me, but how do you behave? How is your behavior? So if they don't feel welcome, they won't come to you. So it's your nonverbal communication as well. So it's there is more behind the fact that I can't delegate, or I cannot communicate with my team. So there is more to it. And it's not about the team. It's not about the situation. It's about how you deal with things internally. And that's, and yeah. And actually what we used to is to focus on, okay, but the other person, it's, the stakeholder didn't approve my proposal. He must not trust me. That's not the case. So it's very much about interpretations, and I think that's we should observe more instead of interpret it, because yeah.
It's a very beautiful way of explaining coaching. Also, it's like a very
Thank you.
it's knowing yourself, and always about knowing yourself, and then the other. Let's say, yeah, yeah. And it was interesting what you said. Why did you choose your target group? Because I think as a person or as a coach, you have the tendency just to help your friends or to help your parents or to help people or to. Um, so I personally found it my target group found me. So that
Okay.
was I was lucky with that. But how did you choose your path in that? Because you chose leaders to coach. Let's say.
Yes. Well, actually, more precise. I'm a private mentor and thinking partner. That's the way I want to call myself to high performing leaders, professionals, founders. And why I like to coach them or work with them is because I my work focuses on helping them on the soft skills. I don't add anything in the hard skills. They are great in what they do. So that is the interesting part. As a coach, you don't need to know about what they do, because that's not actually your territory. So it's coaching the person behind the profession, and that's what I love. So it's and why them is because most of them, they lead teams, so they are in a privileged situation to change people's life, to change them in a positive way. So if I get to work with a leader and I get to help them change his mindset, better his life, actually, his decision, improve his decision making, and gain for and strengthen their clarity and presence, then I think I am, that is my mission. Actually, my mission, then it's done, because they have the ability to impact many peoples, working top down. And that is
It's a multiplier effect,
exactly,
let's say.
it's a ripple effect. So then if they make a change in one person, one team member, then this person will also have a positive effect. And not only in their work, right? It's also in their personal lives. That is what I've heard. So that's for me, then is my mission accomplished to change people's life and becoming actually who are they are meant to be. Yeah.
Nice. I can talk about this topic for hours. I think from our side, the last question would be almost like, what have you learned about yourself through this journey?
A very good question. I have learned to trust myself, not being reactive, impulsive, actually, to trust and to own all the pieces that I am. And I have a better understanding about who I am, thank God, through all this work. So I think that trust is for me key, because if I trust myself, then I believe in what I do, that it's going to be fine. And whatever I do, it's going to do something that I stand behind. And I think that is the very important. So it's, trust, and that brings peace and a very nice place to be. Yeah, for me, it's trust.
Nice. It was such a nice conversation, to be honest. I really loved it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you
you.
for your time, for your trust.
Yeah. Thank you. And also for I think another reason for the podcasts to exist is basically inspiring people and making people move, and I think your story is really, really motivating and inspiring, just to really stay close to yourself, but also to choose the things that you really want to do. So that is for many people, it's the same road. So and so thank you very much for sharing it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, Edward. Thank you, Michiel. And hope
Thank
to
you,
see
Milagros.
you perhaps in Malaga.
Yes, exactly.
Always welcome. Always
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah.
sure.
I've never been there,
Yeah.
so who knows?
The sun is always shining, almost.
I
That's it.
know, I know, I know, I know. Okay,
All
have
right.
a great day, and thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
You too. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Sometimes the next step becomes clear when we create space to pause and reflect. If today's conversation sparked something for you, scan the QR code and book a private 30-minute alignment and clarity conversation with Milagros to explore what may be asking for your attention.